Well, what we have here, of course, is a primary fuel bowl, and you can see that this is not level. That's completely maladjusted. That's low. It's going to leave the engine probably running a little bit lean. Certainly will not help it run properly. Seems to be in pretty good order in there, although we'll give it a good clean out in the meanwhile. And I'm just going to take off the pump here very shortly and just check the diaphragm behind that and make sure that it's okay. I'll also strip out the power valve, which is that big fellow here. Take this gasket off here, just check and blow behind that, make sure everything's nice and clean. Just check that the power valve's the right size for the engine. It's a 302, it's a stock motor. I'll be kind to it and say that, although we never checked it to make sure, I'll be kind to it and say that it probably pulls about 19 inches of vacuum on an idle, which means to say if it does that, you should have the power valve should roughly run at half that, so it'll be 8.5, 8.5. Wouldn't want to be much bigger. Whatever you do with them, if it happens to be an odd number and the next highest one is say a half or so above it, you just go to the lowest one. So if it was 14, you'd go 7, no higher. If it was 15, you still go 7. Otherwise you'll get a problem with it. You don't want to overfuel the car. That's not a good idea. Fine tuning carburetors is how you get mileage. I've always managed to get, out of every car I've ever owned, 5 to 8 miles to the gallon more than the factory has said you can get. And it's just because I've fine-tuned the motor, run them in properly, but for fine-tuned them, made sure that their timing is perfect, used vacuum gauge, simple stuff, vacuum gauge, make sure that the points or whatever in those days were set properly, carburetors were adjusted properly, kept clean properly, and the cars produced enormously good mileage. And I've had out of a 64 XM Falcon station wagon I bought new, presumably would only do about 27 miles to the gallon on a 170 motor, and I managed to get 33 miles to the gallon out of it quite consistently. So it's all in the way you do the work to the car and make sure that everything in it works properly. It's a simple case of proper maintenance and proper tuning, and things will work very well for you. Now I'll just switch this off again and pull a few more things apart.